Welcome back to A View to a Grill. I'm Johnny. Today we're going to do some grilled orange and honey shrimp on the Weber kettle. First thing we're going to do is set up the Weber kettle. Now it's important to have clean grill grates, but it is especially important to have clean grill grates when you're grilling any kind of seafood. So before we grill our shrimp, we want to make sure our grill grate is clean. And I'm just using Citrus Safe so I can clean this while the grill is still cold. I'm going to clean any of the used charcoal that we have in the Slow and Sear. I'll do that just by moving it around to knock off the old ash. Today I'm going to be using the Golden's cast iron brand of lump charcoal for our cook. Now I've been using a lot of Golden's cast iron lump charcoal lately, and I want to show you what the bottom of the bag looks like. The pieces are small, as you might expect in lump charcoal, but they're still usable. These are about briquette size pieces of wood, and they're actually really good to use in the Slow and Sear for nice even heat. Now we've got that set up and ready to go, but I'm not going to start the fire yet. Right now, I'm going to prepare our shrimp. We're using extremely fresh Gulf shrimp. The day I bought this, it was literally alive a few hours earlier, and I picked this up from one of the shrimpers on Galveston Island. I'm using jumbo shrimp here. These were a 9/12 count, and I think using jumbo shrimp is really good for this application because we're going to put them on skewers before we grill them. Now let me show you two ways to get the vein out of a shrimp. You can twist the head off gently and then look and see where that vein is, and once you find it, you can just grab it between your thumb and index finger and gently pull it right out. That's a good way to clean shrimp if you're going to leave the shell on. We're going to prepare our shrimp today for grilling, so I'm going to want to take the shell off, and I'll do that by putting my thumb on each tab of the shrimp shell and just pulling it right off of the shrimp. Then I'll get my thumb, work my way around the body of the shrimp until I get to the other end, and then just pull it right off, feet and all. Now to get the vein out, I'm going to use my chef's knife and hold it stationary, and I'll move the shrimp and not the knife. And notice how I have the knife slightly off center. If I had it on the center, I would cut through the vein. So I'm slightly off center, moving the shrimp, not the knife. And then once I get to the end, I can then take the heel of the blade, pinch the vein between the heel and my thumb, and pull the vein right out. And now you have a clean shrimp. Now we're going to marinate the shrimp. Now for the marinade, we're going to need the juice of 1 lemon, 2 oranges, soy sauce, olive oil, honey, paprika, Italian seasoning, and then salt and pepper to taste. Now we're also going to need to zest one of those oranges, and do that before you squeeze the juice out of it. Now all we're going to do is combine all of those ingredients in a large Ziploc baggie in no particular order. And when you're done adding all of those ingredients to the bag, what I like to do is capture some air in the Ziploc baggie, give it a twirl, and then shake it really vigorously. And now you have your marinade. And the paprika that we put in there gave it this nice orange color. And visually, you have orange shrimp along with the orange in the marinade. Now all we have to do is get our shrimp into the bag. Press out as much of the air out of that bag as possible without piercing the bag, because the shrimp tail does have this barb at the end and it will pierce that bag if you're not careful. Now I'll get that bag in a bowl just in case of leakage, and then get the bowl into the refrigerator. Now if you're not careful, the citrus in the marinade will cook the shrimp. So you don't want to marinate your shrimp for longer than 30 or 40 minutes. So that 30 or 40 minutes is the perfect amount of time for us to finish setting up our grill. Now we'll just get our chimney starter lit, and then once it's ashed over, we'll get that right into the Slow and Sear. Close the lid and let the grill come up to temp. Now that the grill is coming up to temp, let's go get our shrimp and then get them onto the skewers. Now I want to get about 5 of these jumbo shrimp per skewer because that's a good serving size, and it's going to take up the right amount of space so that all the shrimp are over the fire on the Slow and Sear. Once I have the shrimp on the skewers, I'll just pour the rest of the marinade right over that shrimp. And when you're done, you should have something that looks like this. Now, just for a second, I want to take some time and talk about that honey. Shrimp is a very short cook. These jumbo shrimps are only going to be taking about 2.5 minutes per side. So one of the things I see when I see other people grilling shrimp is that they never really get any good color on the shrimp. This honey that we put in the marinade, since it's a sugar, it's going to caramelize when it hits the hot grill. So that's going to give us some wonderful color, some taste from the honey caramelizing, and it's just going to make the entire dish that much better. So now our grill is hot. I'm going to take some canola oil, spray the grill to prevent sticking. Now we can go ahead and start grilling our shrimp. I'll just lay all 4 skewers down. And here's a little trick that I use to keep the tails from burning. I'll just lay the tails on top of the shrimp that it's next to, and that'll keep the tails from burning. Now, you will get some darker tails on the shrimp that are on the ends. For the most part, it does a really good job, and you won't have those burnt, flaky tails, so your presentation will look good. Now, let's talk about some visual cues that we can look at to tell when our shrimp is done. Now, the first and probably most obvious thing is that shrimp is, I don't know, transparent. Look at the skewers. You can actually see the skewer through the shrimp, right? And as shrimp cooks, it's going to be less and less transparent. Once I see the edges starting to turn white and the shrimp starting to lose its transparency, I'm going to go ahead and turn these shrimp over. Now, also while you're cooking this shrimp, if you notice that you're getting a darker color on one part of your shrimp than you are the other part, don't be afraid to move them around to maximize that heat under the shrimp to get good color evenly over all of your shrimp. Now I have these all turned over and cooking, and I'm just turning the shrimp just to see where we are. I'm looking for 2 things. I'm looking for nice color, and I'm looking to see how transparent the shrimp still is. There is no rule that says you can only turn shrimp once. If you want even color, then you may have to turn it more than once, just as long as you're looking for these cues to make sure that the shrimp is cooked well, but not overcooked. At this point, we're about a minute away from fully cooked shrimp, but I want to show you one little detail. Check out this shrimp. You can see close to its tail, it is still a little bit transparent. So this shrimp, even though it's almost cooked, it's not quite there. Personally, I would have shrimp a little underdone than overdone. We'll give this another minute, moving the shrimp around to make sure that we're getting a nice even color on all of our shrimp. And then here's my last little check. I want to look into the crevice that we cut to take the vein out. It is still shiny, it is still plump, and it's an opaque color. This is when I take my shrimp off. So we'll get the shrimp off onto a sheet pan, and now we're ready to taste our shrimp. We'll take a good look at this shrimp so you can see this nice, beautiful, caramelized color. The shrimp is nice and orange and ready to eat. Orange shrimp is so simple and delicious that it's one of my favorite meals right here. I'll just grab one of these off the end, and man. Now, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching A View to a Grill. I'll see you guys next time. Take care, y'all.